shoulder. He uses the right hand to press on the legs until the half guard is broken. He pulls the leg out. The person on bottom attempts to roll into the person on top. The person on top comes to what's known as a frog position. Comfortably resting chest on the person with the arm inside both arms, the knees out wide, pressing onto the person's chest. And that's the end of flow drill number 3. Okay, flow drill number 3. Person on top's right hand reaches inside the opposite collar of the person on bottom. Person on bottom uses their left hand and grabbing the right wrist or right sleeve of the person on top. Person on bottom slides their right hand up deep inside the collar of the person on top. Then they pull, the person on bottom pulls the person in with their knees. Person on bottom then reaches across with their left hand, grabbing the gi material on the shoulder, beginning a choke, cross lapel choke. The person on top removes their right hand, presses it against the elbow, straightening the elbow of the person on bottom to release part of the pressure on the choke. Then they bring their left hand underneath both the opponent's arms, placing it right near their right hand. As they press down with their hand, they posture up, trapping the person's arm. With their right hand, grab gi material up toward the upper portion of the pants, sticking the elbow inside the knee, pushing out. The left hand slides down and pushes on the knee until the guard is broken open. Grab the gi material, press it to the mat as you slide back. Then the same thing happens with the right hand. It slides down the gi, presses it to the mat as you slide back. Walk around the person, slide in with the shoulder, up the person's chest, throwing the left arm underneath, thumb inside, grabbing the gi. The right hand releases and comes to the hip, and again the person on top is now inside control. The person on bottom is going to use their left arm and shoot it underneath, and then they're going to bring their right knee and they're going to slide it on the mat through the person's hand and then hook underneath and then locking it in with both feet. So this is half guard. The person on top is going to bring their right hand over, place it on the mat. Their left hand again goes over, placing the elbow near the person's head. The person on top is going to bring their left hip toward their left elbow, pulling them up inside so that my left knee is against the right hip of the opponent. And I'm in an upright position so I have more leverage, and I keep pushing on these until I can pull my foot out. In this position, the person on bottom attempts to roll into the person on top. In order to prevent that, the person on top rotates their body in, widening out the knees and relaxing on top of the person in a frog position. And this is the end of flow drill number 3. Flow drill number 4. The person on bottom is going to take their left hand and shoot it again underneath the person's arm as they tuck their right foot underneath, and they're going to drive with their left foot into the person as they move, trying to grab the person on top's legs. The person on top is going to rotate away from them and known what's called a sprawl, which is basically a push-up position on the person's back with my arms wrapped underneath. The person on bottom is then going to come to a turtle position, pulling their elbows in toward their knees to protect themselves. The person on top then can set his knees down. Get over to the other side. Person on top is then going to make space with his left elbow, pulling it forward so that he can stick his left knee in that space. Keeping the weight on the person's back, he's going to rotate clockwise. Release his arms. He has one foot out for stability, still weight on the person's back. He's going to take his right hand, come underneath the person's throat, grab the gi, and start to pull to choke the person. The person on bottom is going to use their right hand to pull that hand away. Then the person on top, with that right hand, they're just going to pin the other person's hand to the mat. They're going to grab the inside of the lapel with their left hand. They're going to bend their weight forward so that they can bring the left foot inside to replace the right foot. Then they're going to pull the person to the back. Throw both legs around, hooking the legs inside the person's thighs. With this collar open with the left hand, the right thumb is going to insert deeply inside and then grab. The left hand is then going to grab the gi, lapel, and start to pull down with a sliding lapel choke. And this is the end of flow drill number 4. Flow drill number 5. Flow drill 4 ended in a sliding lapel choke with my right arm. Person defends by gripping both hands on the arm, pulling down, and then bridging into the person. Person on top is going to release with the left hand and the right hand down. Come across with the left hand, deep into the lapel. Right hand's going underneath, and I'm going to do the cross lapel choke with the left arm. Person on top grabs with their right arm on the wrist and the left hand up on the shoulder, trying to take pressure off the choke. The person on top is going to shoot their right hand underneath the person's arm and then reach behind their head across to the opposite side of their own gi. This is called a single wing choke. The person on bottom is going to pull down on the arm to try to defend that choke, to take pressure off. Person on top is going to drop the feet, push the person away with the thigh, right thigh, and then release the left hand. The left hand is going to push on the person's head, push the person away as the left leg comes over the top. The right leg comes over the top, and I've got the arm locked in an arm bar position. As I start to extend the legs down, the person on bottom defends by driving the left arm through the person's legs, driving with their feet, stacking the person's knees up against their body. He grabs behind the head of the person so he can pull the person in tight, stacking them up. Then the person on top pulls his left arm out. As soon as that arm's out, the person on top throws the left leg over and wraps it around the person again, closing the guard. The person on top then postures up. And that's the end of flow drill number 5. Number 6, again, we start in the guard position. Person on bottom's grabbing gi and collar. Person on top grabs the sleeve up at the top end with his left arm, grabbing the right wrist. Okay, he's going to step forward with his left foot. He's using his left hand, grabbing the wrist, stepping forward with the left foot so that I can't grab his leg with my arm. He then stands, and then he's going to use his left hand, or should be right hand, to press on the knee until the guard opens up. As soon as the guard opens up, both hands are going to shoot underneath, scooping the person on bottom's legs. He's going to reach across with his left hand inside the lapel as he walks around toward his left until his head comes out from behind the person's legs. And then he's going to slide down into side control with some pressure on the throat. The person on bottom is going to push that hand over because he doesn't like the pressure on the throat. The person on top is going to take this opportunity to place his right hand on the knee and mount the person on bottom. As the person on top is coming up, he's going to slide his left hand in deep inside the person's lapel and then reach across the top of the shoulder, gi material, with his right hand and begin a choke. The person on bottom, in order to defend the choke, is going to use both hands underneath the person's right arm, grabbing their left arm and pinning it in so that he can't effectuate the choke. The person on top is going to bring his right knee next to the person's head and shift his left knee up. This is called triple mount position. Okay, the person on top is going to swing his right leg over the person's head, and as he falls back, he's starting to pull on that arm to create an arm bar. The person on bottom, in order to defend, grabs their own gi and drives with their right leg up into the person, stacking them up. And this is the end of flow drill number 6. Flow drill number 1. Person on bottom starts in side control. Person on top does a partial escape using the shrimp motion. Person on top rotates into scaffold, Kesa-gatame. Person on bottom initiates a hug and roll escape, which is using a shoulder bridge and hips, turning into modified Kesa-gatame. Person on bottom starts to defend by pressure on the person's head. Person on top throws the left elbow over, reverses the hips, presses on the knee, and mounts. Driving the right hand into the collar, person on bottom grabs the wrist inside the lapel, locking the foot, pulling to the corner in what's called an upa. Person on bottom locks in the guard. Person on top postures up. Person on bottom grabs the gi, drops the feet, left knee down, right foot across, scissors motion. Person on top does elbow knee escape to half guard, elbow, knee, escape to guard. Person on bottom grabs wrist, pulls in with the knees, reaches across for a choke. Person on top defends with the right hand, the left hand, the right hand, the left hand, the right hand, walking around, sliding in to side control. Person on bottom shoots underneath, drives with the leg, gets half guard. Person on top reaches over again with the left elbow, pulls forward, presses on the leg to escape. Person on bottom rolls in, person on top defends. Person on bottom shoots through and tries to go for the legs. Person on top sprawls. Person on bottom defends with turtle position. The person on top uses left elbow, bringing the left knee, keeping the weight on the back, switching the arms. Person on top grabs with their right arm across, starting to choke. Person on bottom defends. Person on top pins that hand to the mat, grabs the lapel, shifts the weight forward more onto the person back so that they can shift their feet, sticking the right foot in. Person on top rolls to their back, pulling the other person with them. Locking in the legs, reaching in deep, starting the choke. Person on bottom defends the choke. Person on top shifts, brings the choke to the opposite side. Person on bottom begins to defend. Person on top switches to a single wing choke. Person on bottom defends. Person on top shifts to a arm bar. Person on top defends by stacking the person up, pulling the leg out. Person on top closes the guard. Person postures up. Person on top then does the